Easter is almost here, and I haven't done one Easter card or project on my channel this year, which is not like me. So let's make a fun, easy, one layer Easter card. And the only technique is masking, and we're going to use the watercolor pencils. So you can see I'm using 2 stamp sets for this card, Fable Friends, which is in our current occasions catalog, and Love What You Do. We are going to use this little bunny and the Easter greetings, and then for this one we are going to use this flower and these little flowers here. We're also going to use the grass on this one. Okay, so prior to filming, I already went ahead and stamped this little guy on a piece of computer paper, and then I took a little bit of our Tombow glue and I just dabbed a little bit on the back and let it dry, and then that will become tacky so that it's repositionable. And now I'm just going to cut this out. That little trick was shared by one of my super wonderful and sweet YouTube subscribers. I'm so sorry I can't think of her name right now, but she had mentioned it in one of the comments, and it was new to me and it works great. So thank you for that, my friend, if you are watching this video. And those of you who didn't know about that little trick, you're going to love it. And you can also use post-it notes, and just make sure that they are big enough depending on the image that you're stamping. So I'm just getting pretty close to the lines of this image, and I keep these on the lid, the inside lid of the stamp set, so then they're always there and I never lose them, and you don't have to cut them out every time. Okay, almost done. Don't want to cut off his little paw. Oh, I just realized how super close this camera is. Sorry about that. Okay, there's my little guy, and he's tacky. So I'm going to put him aside. For this card, I am using Whisper White cardstock. I'm just putting my magnet down. And put my little bunny right there. And I'm using black stays on because this is my red rubber stamp. That turned out really good, but I'm going to stamp them again. Just like that. And I will come back to the Stamparatus a little bit later. Okay, so now it's time to put the mask on. So I'm going to zoom in. And I got an ink smudge on there. You gotta love it when that happens. Okay, so now I have my flowers on the clear blocks and the grass. So I'm gonna start with this big flower. This is from the Love What You Do stamp set, and because this is clear photopolymer, I'm using my black Memento ink now. And I'm gonna stamp this right on top of the mask, but I want the stem to go behind the bunny. There we go. And now I'm going to take my flowers and stamp them down below. I have a little hill of flowers. There we go. Maybe a little bit more over here. And now I'm stamping my grass. I'm going to stamp right on the mask, right on his foot. Or her. There we go. Oh, another smudge, so there's going to be grass going there now. Oh well, that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to now take my mask off. This is always the magical bit. And the flowers are now behind the bunny. Next, I'm taking my watercolor pencils. And I'm just creating the little grassy mound that that little bunny is standing on. And when you're using the watercolor pencils, you don't have to cover in every little bit of white spot. And now I'm going with my old olive right on top of that grass. And can you see I'm literally just scribbling it. Okay. And I think I'm going to put a little bit on these stems. Okay, next I'm taking my yellow, going on these flowers. I love the watercolor pencils. They are just so fast and they look so beautiful when you blend them all in. I'm using my Clips of Coral, yep. Again, just kind of randomly adding a bit of color near the top. And we need some spring colors, so I'm using Melon Mambo. Now I'm using Rich Razzleberry. And these two colors are actually pretty close together when you blend them in. This is my Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to bring the yellow in down here too. Okay, now it's time to do the bunny. So I'm taking my brown and I'm just going to outline the bunny and do his feet. His little hands. So I had my all occasion card class last night, which is the third Wednesday of every month. And I had two new ladies who hadn't come to class before. They had scrapbooked but hadn't really done a whole lot of stamping. So this is one of the cards they made, and I must tell you, all their cards turned out beautifully. And this little card was just so much fun to watch them color it. They were so relaxed, and they even said that they were in the Zen zone. They were just completely relaxed coloring their little card. We do 2 each of 3 designs at these classes. I just want to point out, I am actually coloring over those buttons because I'm going to put rhinestones on those buttons. A little bit of pink in his ear, a little bit of pink on his nose. Okay, that's it. The card is done. No, I'm just kidding. Now it's time to take the blender pen and blend these watercolor pencils all together, and it's absolutely magical. Now you can also use the aqua painter. I love my aqua painter. In fact, I'm just going to show you. Make sure I've got some water coming out. So you see how that color just starts to float? Beautiful. So I'm going to use the blender pen though, and just start blending all those colors together. Okay, now I'm doing the old olive for the grass. Blend some of that in. Okay, so before I go into the next colors, I'm going to swipe my blender pen back and forth on the scrap paper until it comes out clear again. And now I'm going to go into these flowers. So I'm working my way from the bottom to the top. So that coral completely blends in nicely with that yellow. Okay, let's move on to the yellow flowers. Now we're going to move on to the pink flowers, Flirty Flamingo, and just color in the other ones that we have down here. So you want to go kind of with a light hand when you use the watercolor pencils. If you are too hard when you're pushing down on them, you're going to get line marks that are going to be hard to blend out. Whereas this way, there's no harsh lines. Okay, bunny time. I'm going to do the pink first, just because I don't want all my brown to blend into the pink. There we go. And I'm just going in little circles. See how nice that all blends in together? His little hands. And you'll see in a second why I didn't put any in his belly, and that's because I am pulling that color in from the outside. You want to be careful not to hit the colors around it. Like, I don't want to hit that blue because that blue will pull in, just like a watercolor would. Okay, and now his little jacket. Super sweet. So now I'm going to add some sky. So for the sky, I am using the Bermuda Bay watercolor pencil. And I'm just very lightly doing up and down strokes and going in between the flowers. Apologize for the shadows on this, you guys. It's a bit late in the day. So you could add as much or as little as you want. I'm gonna add a little bit more coloring in over that smudge mark too. I am going back in with my blender pen, and look, all those lines are just smudging away, and it feels like melted butter. Isn't that cool? So again, I'm just going in little circles, going in between these little bits. There. Now we've got our sky, our flowers, and our grass. What's next? What is next is I'm going to take my black marker, and I'm using the fine tip of the marker. So if you are new to Stampin' Up, I'm just going to point something out about our markers you may not know. But we've got a bold line on one side and a thin line. This means this is the journaling tip, and then this means this is the bold brush tip. And I'm pointing that out because I was a Stampin' Up demonstrator for years, literally, before I realized those two lines were there. I would always just take off the lids and try to pick the right end that I wanted. So I'm just letting you know that little tip. Oh yeah, where were we? We were gonna add little stems. So I'm literally just drawing on little stems for these flowers. I think that's good. Put my magnet down again. And taking my Easter greetings. Nice stays on. Okay, I am bringing my mask back in over the bunny because I'm going to do a little splattering. I'm using the crumb cake ink pad and my aqua painter. So you want to make sure your water is really coming out with your aqua painter. And I'm going to do this just on the placemat first, make sure it's what I want. And then I'm just tapping. There we go. So I've got a splatter. Can you guys see that? Maybe? Hopefully? Well, you're about to see it because I'm going to do it on this guy. So sometimes you might have to give this a little squeeze as you're doing your splatters. And a little goes a long way. You really don't need a whole lot of splatter, but it looks nice. Okay, one more thing, and that is glitter. We need dazzling diamond glitter. So I could use the fine tip glue, but I'm going to use this Tombow glue because I have it handy. Okay, so I'm just going to squeeze out a tiny little bit on the 3 big flowers and then just kind of smush it around. And then I'm going to add a little bit to the little flowers. And sprinkle this on. I know I got little bits of paper and things in my glitter. And I really think this glitter on this card just makes it perfect. And for these flowers, I'm actually going to rub that glitter in. There we go. Couple of rhinestones for this guy's little jacket. So I'm going to show you another one I did. This one's a little bit different. This was left over from last night's class when I was demonstrating how to mask the bunny. And when I was getting ready for this video, I thought, I wonder what that would look like as the sky. So I put the mask on and stamped that. But of course, because I already have my flowers down, they had blue ink on them. So I used my markers because it needed to be darker to hide that ink. But if I were to do this again, I would mask the 3 flowers. But that makes a really cool sky as well. And then I used markers down here. I used my watercolor pencils for the grass and for the bunny, just like I showed you, and the happy spring. And then I mounted this card on Pool Party. So you can see the differences. But I will say this is my favorite. This one right here, I think it's softer and sweeter. This is cute too, but I really, really like this one. And it's nice to have a 1-layer card for a change, just with Whisper White. And this card, start to finish, when I'm not, videotaping or anything like that, this is a card that can be done in about 15 minutes. It's really, really fast and fun and relaxing. And I hope you have a wonderful Easter. Thank you for watching and happy stamping.